In the previous video, we looked at how to make a subprogram repeat with this L code, and we took the same subprogram that cuts this profile and did it at 2 depth cuts as seen here, and each step over moves in 100 thou. This one is 225 thou away from the final part size. This is 1/8 of an inch, and this one's 25 thou away from the final part size so that the finished cutter can cut that. In this video, I want to demonstrate how we can use the same subprogram for all step overs with the use of a simple common variable. And I'll set it up so all 3 of these use subprogram 1, 2, 3, 6. So first I'll change this to a 6 and this to a 6. Next, I want to use a common variable. And I don't care if this is cleared when the power goes out, because every time I run the program I'm going to set it up to what I want. And I'm going to do that by saying number 100 equals 0.2 here, and then before we come into this rough cut I'm going to say number 100 equals 0.1. So next I have to alter my subprogram to include the number 100, and it only needs to be included on the x-axis. So I'm going to scroll down to the subprogram, and everywhere I have an x position I have to now incorporate the number 100. So there's 2 ways to do this depending on your machine controller. So you'll have to test it out. The easiest way is just to put it into MDI and test it, see if it works. So in this case, I'm going to say x equals, and then a square bracket. Some machines do not require the equals. And then here I'm just going to say plus number 100 and square bracket. Next I'll copy this bit of code because I'm going to add that to every x value. So I'm going to come down to this x again and say equals, square bracket, I'll go to the end, and paste. So now I just want to double check that I've done this for all the x's and it looks good. So let's just scroll back up and see what's going to happen. Before we run the subprogram the first time, it sets whatever's stored in 100 to 0.2. So the machine will actually put this in its memory area of common variable 100. And now it's going to use it. Before we run the subprogram this time, it's going to reset it to 0.1. And then when it runs it the last time, we need to reset it to 0. So I'm going to add 100 equals 0 here. And the spaces are just for you and I. It'll accept it this way or this way. Again, a few controllers won't accept these spaces. If you get an alarm, remove those spaces. So let's check it out, and I'll refresh the plot, and the plot looks exactly the same as it should. So if we look at this, I'm just going to open up the variable window. I'm going to say calculate, show variables, and I'll move it to there, and I'll just full screen this. So we have our variables over here. First thing I'll do is I'm going to clear all the variables, and I'll say yes, and I'm going to step the program through from here. So we'll step through over here, we'll come down, and here we'll set 100. So we see 100 is set. It's going to go into the subprogram, it's going to run it twice just like it did before. And as we go, we can see the exact coordinates are what they should be. So it's just taking what's stored here, the 0.2 in this case, adding to this, and that'll be the x location to go to. And I'll keep running it through. So it does 1 depth of cut and then the next. Then it's going to come back out. Now it'll set 100 to 0.1 and it'll run the code. So we've stepped in that 0.1, and then one more time it sets 100 to 0 and it runs our code.